won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters. And we ain't got nothing to hide, we move forward like soldiers.
What up, what up, what up, and welcome in here to the Pregaming show on the Sports Network. We are live and ready to hopefully get this microphone setting right. Hopefully everybody's good tonight. I feel pretty good about the action we have in store. 3 sports on deck means we have an opportunity to be selective and pick where we want to pop these bookies tonight. I felt like we had a really nice looking spot here in the NHL. I've got 3. Kind of want to add a 4th for you guys in the NHL. I will see what that looks like out there. Then we will roll into college basketball. We will talk the Red Wings and the Senators, the Kraken and the Blues, and the Flames and the Sharks. Big spots on deck here this evening, including a 27-0 trend you do not want to miss out on. Then we will move into the college arena. We will look at Bethune and Grambling. That's a 6:30 start. We get the benefit with this 5 p.m. start that we get to pop and make them bookie panties drop with some of these early before 7 p.m. games out there. Hopefully your bookie is of the opposite persuasion. Mercyhurst in Central Connecticut in a revenge opportunity with a big trend to boot. Chicago State and Long Island will battle for a potentially meaningless game. And then Michigan State and Purdue, probably the most meaning on the card this evening. Only meeting these 2 teams will have this season. Can home court prevail, or are these too many points for a feisty and wiry Michigan State team, having only dropped a game to Michigan in the past couple of weeks? We're going to follow it up to the NBA. What do you say we talk Heat and Sixers, Pelicans and Jazz, and the T-Wolves and the Clippers to bring us home? I feel like I have rinse and repeat in the NBA today. It's like, I don't know. They didn't even have, I don't know. Just looked at the card and I was like, man, I feel like some of these caps are like exactly the same as yesterday, only we're hoping for some different results in some respect. We had terrific results last night, though. Picked up what we dropped and then gained a little bit more on top of that. We're up 10 units this week. 10 units this week right here on this free show Pregaming on the Sports Money Network. And last night was no exception. Just under 4 units of gain. The NHL kicked off like this. We won the Buffalo Sabres game 2-1. Pretty cool to see Quinn Hughes and Tage Thompson do-si-do around the arena. I put a tweet out there. I said, the only thing that would make this better is if they now squared off at center ice. That did not happen. And then we went 0-2 between the Flyers. They took the dump 3-1 out there. And then Toronto Maple Leafs just got going too late. I added that Maple Leafs play. In hindsight, we would have been good if I had not, but that's okay. That's the way that it goes. We cashed to finish off the night with the under 6.5 in 3-2 final for Winnipeg and Vancouver. I told you I couldn't quite get there on the side. I lean Vancouver, but I gave you guys the under 6.5. So 2-2, kind of a middle mediocre spot as they come back from the Olympic break. Now college hoops. Connecticut smacked a taste out of St. John's Mouth, 72-40. Almost doubled them up, boys. Big, easy winner for us there. UConn -5. Elsewhere, we cashed easily with the under 150.5. 2 points, 3 points to sweat. In the Portland and Gonzaga game, Arkansas, the Pigs, the Hogs, whatever. We know Texas A&M's an auto fade. I got to be honest. There's so many jokers out there that gave out Texas A&M. And what are you looking at? We've been talking about fading this pile of pig shit for 3 weeks now. Stop it. Jesus, these fucking imposters. I swear to God, they get the paper out. They go live on a show and they're like, all right, let me pull up the schedule and look. And they don't have any foresight or they probably don't even watch games. And they're just out there talking about how great Texas A&M is. Are you fucking kidding me? That's what we do here. We are prognosticators. We are tip of the spear. We are the first ones to come up with the reaction because by the time everybody else starts talking about the trend, It's too late. And then, unfortunately, we did lose the under in the Seattle game, 87-82 Pepperdine. But we moved into the NBA, and we had a pretty good NBA slate. Fuck Memphis, man. Golden State comes through. They won by 21 points on a 3.5 spread against them Grizz. We've been fading them Grizz. And last night gave us another good example of why we do that. Now, the big spot there was the ad. The minus 13.5 for Houston. The Rockets, they won by 31 points. Remember that one. Doesn't happen very often. But when a team turns the ball over 25 times the previous game, they fire back. When they play like shit to an nth degree, to a league setting, like a league precedent setting garbage, they fire back the next game. That was the Rockets. And a lot of people said, can't lay double digits with the Rockets. That's my stupid asshole voice right there. Can't lay double digits with the Rockets, man. I'm telling you. Well, guess what? I'm telling you. Start paying attention to the trends. Then you look over and you see we went 1-1 to close her out in the Boston Celtics game. Right on with the under. All that star power gone made it very difficult for the total at 230. That was just a loft. I mean, they got 187 points in that game. They smoked the under by almost 50. And then Boston plus 3.5. Boston did not smash, as it turns out. But we did. That's about a 4-unit day right there. Free plays cashed. Lots of things happening in the world of sports for us here, but it's been a good week since we moved to the 5 p.m. time slot. I'll tell you what, I think I'm digging it. How about you guys? I'll tell you what I am digging too is the help that you guys have put out there from a smashing of the thumbs up button. I've told you we are battling with the entire social media space. First, they asked us to grovel and beg for an opportunity to go live. Yeah, right. Then they kind of started going out there trying to ambush us, sending bots after us. We persevered. Then they came out there and tried to steal talent. They stole show names. We find a way to triumphantly dominate that space. And here we are over 2 years later. And now we're fighting with these social media spaces. YouTube shut off the comments yesterday. Twitter doesn't want to repost the content, but you guys can help us stay loud and proud by smashing that thumbs up button, showing the support for the show. And the comments are tremendous. You guys that leave comments after the show, I see you guys. And I want to thank you for it because those do help us continue to press forward. It's almost like we're getting a chance to slap the decision makers in the face. And I know you guys enjoy that as much as I do. So if you haven't done so already, slap that thumbs up button and we will pimp slap these social media clowns by showing them sports money reigns supreme. How about that? I think that sounded good. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button if you haven't done so already. Okay. I want to add a golf play. Does anybody object to me adding a golf play to the arena that we have in place here? We did well last week with Jack Knapp at a plus 195. Let me just take a quick peek. Sadly, my goal scoring prop went 1-2 yesterday. Lost about a half a unit there, by the way. That's how we started off the show yesterday. He's performing rather well. Good for him, but that's not what we want to see when we're trying to live bet some golf. And I leaned on AI to design me a pretty little graphic for my golf plays here as we've started the season, and it recapped a 5-5. Thank you to CMAC for pointing out it's 5-10. But here's the thing about the golf performance. Despite being 5-10, we're up over 4 units, almost 4.5 units in golf. So, or is it 4.8? I can't recall. But think about that. A sub 500 record. And we are up over 4 units in PGA performance. That's what golf can do for you. I gave out the Hogard brothers. Hogard? Anyhow, it doesn't matter what card. I parlayed the two of them together. Rasmus is having himself a pretty decent day out there. Top 5 finish for Rasmus would be a plus 280. I would think about his plus, if you parlayed the two, it was plus 165 or 175, something like that, for top 20 finishes. I would think you can get away with Rasmus Højgaard at plus 150 top 10 finish. So it's kind of, I mean, look at he's not going to, if he's not getting the top 10, he's not getting the top 20. That's kind of the way this numbers thing works. Also, I would give you guys, I'll tell you what, I think Aaron Ray has got himself a fine half here going into the Masters. So I like Aaron Ray as a top 10 finisher. Let me look at his top 20. I think he's in 7th right now. And again, I like this stuff because, yeah, I still fired away on some first round leaders, but that's because I'm a degenerate. Okay. I got some issues, but yeah, I don't. Aaron Ray minus 138 for a top 20 on DraftKings right now. I would take his top 10. Also, I think Shane Lowry is minus 104. There's another golfer I'm going to give you guys. Top 20, minus 104 for Shane Lowry. And there's Nikolai Højgaard at plus 112 for the top 20. I think that's a good ad as well. So there's a 3-pack for you guys. Aaron Ray, top 10. Nikolai Højgaard, plus 112, top 20. Shane Lowry, top 20. And I did not give you guys the top 10 as well for Rasmus Højgaard, plus 134. So that's the official number now for DraftKings. There's a 4-pack for you guys to consider in the business of golf. Shout out to everybody that's here. I see Jay Main, the first commenter in the house. Andrew Case is doing it live. That's right, my man. Let's do it out there. Jay Main says, we out here moving boulders. You guys love it. I love that song too, man. That's a sharp little intro that we were able to uncover. Jay Main says, Tarleton State first half. I got from someone last 5 covered head to head. There's 9 legacy with the paid in full parlay of the day. Beefy. It's got Campbell, Eastern Washington, Memphis, CSUN. All on the spread, but Bulls, I think is what he means. Bulls money line, Heat money line, and Calgary Flames money line for our guy. 9 legacy. J-Man like Sadiq Bey for 20 plus points. It's plus money. He's either under or 20 or more the whole year. I like those spots. J-Man says, what you think about Calgary over with these 2 goalies? St. John's was point shaving. I heard that. They shot like 5 points in the second half. Jordy Fuentes is here. He likes the Magic today. LALV says Dodgers ruining spring training baseball. Well, that's what the Dodgers do. They ruin shit, don't they? All right. Had to go to the hardware store today and look for an inline water filter. Not happy with the quality of water that's been popping out of the old faucet, but these are getting expensive too. So it's got to be a happy medium somewhere. I guess I got to win some bets so I can go out there and pick one of these things up, huh? Let's do that. Jay Main says Udoka 7-1 and 5-3 ATS versus Orlando. Man, I want to cook this card with you guys tonight here. Let's do that. What the fuck? Why not? I mean, it's been a good couple of days, right? We've been firing. I love that we're back, man. I was just getting so frustrated with just college basketball out there. And it's so funny because like this is where the switch flips and we become dominant powerhouses. And I thank my man Shark for reinvigorating my spirit and giving me one of the better NFL seasons I can recall over the last couple of years here. Just getting involved, getting engaged, working together on these show plays to put up over 40 units in the NFL. And I got to thank my man Miggity Mac Daddy for me involved in the Saturday college basketball show because I do feel like we're starting to kind of see the groove, if you will. And man, speaking of the groove, how about Navy again? They said Navy was done and had nothing to play for. I told you if you've been riding them, keep fucking riding them. Just because we don't give out the officials here doesn't mean you can't buy into some of the information that's being shared. Jerry Davis is the world champion Dodgers, Mikey. Get it right. Shout out to you, Jerry. Jay Main says, one more. Mike Durant averaged 30 versus the East and 30 on back-to-backs. Oh, Kevin Durant. It's like, I was thinking Mike Durant. Who the fuck is that? Sorry, man. I was running around today. I told you I had to hit up the old hardware store. I'll tell you what, though. What a pleasant experience. So for a water faucet, this is the kind of day I think we're going to have. Okay. And it'll tie back to gambling because for a water faucet, you got the little screw that goes on the little flangey thing, the what's it called there? The aspirator that goes onto the bottom of the faucet to keep it from spraying everywhere as soon as you turn the water on, right? Well, rusted out. And so every time I turn the fucking faucet on, I was like, man, the sink's too small because the water's just, it's like turning on a fucking fire hydrant, right? So I finally get up to Lowe's today. I go down the aisle and I'm like, hey, call the guy over. I realized I didn't bring that part with me, right? So if you've ever had to go get the, screw onto the bottom of your water faucet, there's about 75 of them, different shapes, sizes, male parts, female parts. Some screw on the over, some screw on the inside, some have the aspirator at the bottom. I mean, look, there's a whole wall of them. It's like, tap the fucking guy on the shoulder. These guys are like former workers of the trade, if you will. I was like, dude, you feel like gambling? He's like, yeah. I said, first of all, check out money. So I hope he's watching. Peace, shout out to you. But at the same time, I was like, dude, I need a faucet. I need an aspirator for the bottom of the sink. And I didn't bring it with me. And I'm looking at this wall of 75 of them with all different sizes, male and female and whatever. And I was like, is there a common one? And he's like, no, it depends on the sink. It depends on all the variable components to it. I said, well, let's gamble. What do you think? Which area should we focus on? He's like, I don't know. I'd probably stay down here a little bit. I was like, all right. So he got me to the bottom half of the wall. Then from the bottom half of the wall, I picked up 2. I went with 1. I got it right. Fit right off the gate. No need to take it back. And I thought, man, am I lucky today? Because it's a pain in the ass to have to take like a $7 part back to get another one. And especially when the sink's under construction. So that was a win. We gambled on the pick of the faucet from the shelf and got it right. First try. So I'm feeling good about the card here tonight, you guys. That's how I tie it all back together. And hopefully you guys are smashing that thumbs up button every day so that you can show your support for what we're doing here. And if you're looking to support me, you like what we're doing, you want some extra plays, you want some of my absolute best bets, you want some feedback and advice on how to manage the bankroll or unit size, I provide all of that as a higher level of service to my winnable subscribers. Those that do say, hey, Mike, we appreciate you doing this. I want some best bets. You want my text alerts and you want to have a little one-on-one coaching as it relates to growing your bankrolls. You can do so by jumping into Winnable. Never miss a bet when I drop them. I try to put 3 or so out per sport per day. My favorites, the best ones, the highest trends, the most likelihood, the ones I have the most cash on, all of that are found over at Winnable. And if you use code NY2026, you'll be able to get on board. If you haven't done so already, try a longer term package, treat yourself, grab a 3-monther, see what we do. It costs you about 60 cents a day. So you buy 2 months, you get one free with Winnable using NY2026. Hey, it's Mikey Money here, letting you know the Sports Money team is live on Winnable. Come check out our best bets.
For a low monthly cost, you get the very best bets delivered instantly to your phone by text the moment they're locked in. No delays, no missed lines, just the smartest plays at the best odds.
We do the work, you get the plays, and they're sent right to your phone right when we drop them.
Don't wait, don't guess, don't miss the line. Join the winning team today and start cashing tickets with Winnable.
There you go. I just dropped a plus money edition, a player prop out there for the marketplace in the world of the NHL. So let's talk about some NHL. While we're here, we might as well get to the business of the business. I got to pull up the old goalie report. Let's see here. Goalies. Let's get them dialed in and see where we're at. To me, as well as it relates to starting pitching in baseball. I don't so much care about that because I don't play first fives, but I do care about the goaltenders because they play all 60. And we got ourselves an interesting spot here this evening. A lot of people looking to run back to Tampa Bay after that spot Toronto game last night there. I'm not inclined. I would lean to I would lean to the Carolina Hurricanes. Brandon Busey will get the start. Jonas Johansson, second leg of a back-to-back for Tampa with travel factored into this one. Although it's not a ton of travel, I still have other spots I prefer to be engaged with, and none other to kick this card off than the Red Wings and the Senators tonight in a showdown of mediocrity. Can we call it that? Can we start it that way? I mean, if you're in about two mediocre teams, which one has to win? And I say that's not the only way to play the game. You can look at a total. John Gibson gets the pop for the Red Wings. Linus Ullmark. You may recall Linus Ullmark as seen in such films as My Girl Told Your Girl Who You're Banging on the Road. He's back. It was a legend. But he's 16-8-5 with a 2.86 goals against average. He was sick going into the All-Star break. So this guy has taken 3 weeks plus off. Not to mention, he was off for like a month and a half while him and his girl had to sort some things out in the personal reputation and relationship business. So he was off for 5 weeks. He plays 2 games. He gets sick and he's off for another 3 weeks. Could this guy be any more fucking rested? Literally. I mean, they're all rested. But this guy is rested, and he's got a 1.5 goals against average with a 93% save percentage. So looking pretty darn sharp, fella. Now, Brady Tkachuk is catching a ton of flack. I am just personally disgusted. I don't spend a lot of time talking left or right, and you could probably ascertain my position when it comes to the old pendulum as it shifts in the political arena, but it's disgusting watching these people just turn this Team USA into a fucking shit show. Look, you had your Megan Rapinoe or whatever the fuck her name is, and she can fuck off forever. These U.S. hockey players are excited and proud. They don't give a fuck. And if Trump makes a joke about having to invite the women's team or he's going to get impeached, I mean, look, it's not Brady Tkachuk's fault, nor should he have to apologize for it. The guy went out there and won a gold fucking medal. So it's disgusting to see what's happening. And I don't care what your affiliation is. It wouldn't matter. It's just disgusting the way that they're trying to like make this guy beg and grovel for forgiveness when he didn't do anything wrong. He went out there and won a fucking gold medal. First time in 46 years. So all this talk about supporting, oh man, it's disgusting. It's like, come on. When did hockey have, and I love what the Quinn mother said, the Hughes mother said. She's like, look, this is an opportunity to unite. Let's not use it as a chance to divide. It was so well said. And she's a player development specialist or consultant for the girls' side of things. So it's disgusting. I can only hope that those girls play beach volleyball in the off season. That being said, though, look, you look at this game and I talk about the side. I'm going to vary from the side. I'm going to sway it. I'm going to go to the under. You got the Senators goalie rested, fresh as a daisy. You got the Senators team kind of a zero. And I don't mean zero in terms of their skill set or ability. I mean, they allow 2.5 goals a game. They score or expected scoring 2.5 goals a game. So both of them are below the league average. The Red Wings give up just 2.6 goals a game. And they're scoring stinks, to say the least. They've been going under their totals for their last 5 games going into the All-Star break. So, you know, that being said, I know like Larkin, great USA, number 21, Dylan Larkin. I thought, man, this poor fucker is playing for the Red Wings still. I like seeing him score some goals for Team USA, and he was dancing, he was partying, he was celebrating. Like, good for him, dude. You're never going to do that in Detroit. So get your time, get your fill, and I think he will go out there and find a way. But not sure how it goes down tonight other than the fact that I like an under. I think it's just a good spot where you've got, look, we saw what happened in those games last night. They came back and like the first 2 periods of the first 3 games were all zeros. It was great. Especially when I was holding on to all dog prices, right? I was hoping like, man, can I get there? But I got the under 6. That's an official play for you guys here. And I love the fact that we've got the push in play as well. It's going down to 5.5s. I couldn't talk you off it if you were trying to really sneak out there and grab a plus 115 or so. I mean, it's got to be 115 or better, though. I know there's a bunch of plus 110s. That's just my greed saying, give me as much of it as I can. Shout out to everybody that is here watching us be greedy tonight as we try to kick the books and get this money, man. We've had a 10 unit gainer this week so far. So want to run it back, run it up. We kicked off the show with 4 golf plays live in tournament out there that will cash by Sunday night, or will post out by Sunday night. Hopefully they cash for us, all plus money. Seattle Kraken, St. Louis Blues, game number 2 of the NHL card. I added Steve Stamkos. It's funny because I know MMA Jeff's like, why do you fucking like that guy so much? I don't know, man. I like an aging player that aged like we used to talk about, my boys and I, when there was I better not say it. Certain folk age out. Like if you're you can get what I'm saying. If you date Leo DiCaprio and you become 26 years old, you have aged out of the plan. You are no longer part of his criteria. And so, Steve Stamkos ages out of the Tampa Bay Lightning's rebuild. They keep Kucherov. I think it was a good move. I like that he picked up his bag and went over to the Nashville Predators. I thought they'd have a better season last year here. But I think when it comes down to it, you got a team that's not playing a ton of defense out there, and you got Stammer coming in here with a plus money price tag on over 2.5 shots on goal at plus 105. So I added Steve Stamkos, the Nashville Predators. You can figure out how you want to contort that piece of it, but it's plus money for a guy that's averaging 2.8 shots a game going into the All-Star break, snubbed from Olympic competition because he aged out. So let's talk Kraken and St. Louis Blues. Let me get the banner turned on here, huh? Went back to the old graphic because I was running around today. I didn't get a chance to fine-tune the new one. I will. It's on the list. Plus, also on the list is updating the graphics for the UFC live show that we're going to do on Saturday. So if you guys haven't done it, check it out. Get ready. Join us, man. It's a lot of fun. Doesn't matter if you like UFC or not. We'll give you play-by-play on the UFC. We'll give you analysis and fight best bet for every single fight on the card. 100% free. Just join us and check us out. But it's not just that. It's the banter. It's the conversation about things like our Final Four for the NCAA tournament. We talked about the NBA championship plays out there. And then we give live bets. Hockey, basketball, football when football was in season, golf. Lots of talk about all things sports. And man, it's like a 6.5 hour, 7 hour marathon. So if you missed it last week, don't miss it this week. We cash more than anybody. Legit, transparent. It's not like we used to have guys that would come on and give out both sides. Like they'd give out one side pre-flop and then they'd be live on the other side. And then when it won, they wanted to celebrate like they won. It's like, dude. And enough of you guys complained about it. We made some changes. We got it tight and right. But Saturdays are a lot of fun. So get out there, check out the VB MMA Pick Show with Ramon Scott for the first 3 breakdowns. You'll get a main event breakdown, a co-main event breakdown, a third fight breakdown, a bonus bet out there, and then join us on Saturday as we kick butt and take names. I got to update those graphics. That was my point about that. Shout out to Mr. Weskers. There's AOD in the house. LALV says back-to-back world champion Dodgers. UConn Gators, Final Four for Mr. Weskers. I threw out the list. Can't believe I did it. Shouldn't be too hard to figure out. Houston's not. I think Houston got bumped. I think we were all in agreement that Houston should get bumped. Jerry Davis is doubled up with Kraken 2.5. Okay. I'm going to take the Kraken in this game. I said this when I watched Team Canada fire around Jordan Binnington. Guy's not that great this year. We've been talking about him from the start, so it was surprising to see. And I'm not surprised that he struggled, especially when Sidney Crosby went down. Grubauer, Seattle Kraken, playoff contending squad. Can't believe it. And I read for the first time that it finally resonated with me. Like, we got like 6 weeks of hockey left. We're not even in the back half of the season. We're in like the final quarter. Just like that. Flip the switch, and here we go. So 11-6-3 with a 2.43 save goals against average for Grubauer. Taking on Joel Hofer. It won't be Binnington. They're going to give him the rest after blowing it for Team Canada in a cowardly fashion. Is what it is. Now, Hofer has been playing better than Binnington all season, so you can't argue with that. He did go into the All-Star break 1-2-1 with a 3.98 goals against average. So struggling. I don't know. Listen, I think Hofer had himself a nice stretch too. This is what even further made it surprising. I don't know. I guess it goes back to the World Junior Development days here. USA's had a lot of goalies in development camps. Canada, not so much. Now, they got some great players, but goaltending wise, they'd rather score goals than worry. They're transitioning to the European game, it seems to me. But that being said, this one, a lot of ways to look at it. I mean, the Blues are scoring under 3 goals a game. The last 10, their expected goals for was 2.6 going into the All-Star break. So I'm not high on St. Louis. I'm not high on their goaltending situation. I guess I like Hofer more than anybody else in this equation here. But look, I think the Kraken are surprising some folks. They surprised me. I told you before, I didn't like the way their roster was constructed. And I'm going to get down with these boys here because it's a nice little plus money shot coming back from the All-Star break here, from the Olympic break, to take a team circling around plus 120. And, it's the 4-1 loss. Teams bounce back after a 4-1 loss. They're 51-35. Now that's kind of weak in full disclosure because it does go back before the All-Star break, but just not buying the Blues team. I mean, they're pretty much toast. They're checked. And there's not a lot of maneuvering here when you're not averaging a lot of goals. You either don't want to play or I want to play the dog. There wasn't enough of a dog price in that Red Wings game, so I took the under. I could see this game going under, but I think the Kraken probably win this thing, and they probably win it like 4-2. Keeps the Blues under their average of 2.6 goals per game in their last 10. And, the Kraken are just fucking sneaky, man. They just kind of find a way to continue to surprise. And I know they're 27-21-9, but I'll take a shot with them. I'll fire away on them. Redbeard says Spurs minus 11, Ottawa money line plus 218. Mr. Wesker's talking about Todd Golden. Okay. There's 3 hockey plays down, including the player prop. And then last but not least, and I promised you guys a beefy trend. So beefy trend I will give you. I hope you like it as a nice, fat, thick, round patty. None of those fucking smash burgers that you're seeing all over the place where they're paper thin and crispy cute here. This one's got a little pink in the middle. Nice little medium rare burger coming your way. And it's going to look like this here in the late season. We're in a fade. We're in a fade of the Sharks. If the team is not one of the worst in the league. In other words, their win percentage is higher than 36%. Okay? Got to be pretty bad to be sub 36%. As long as you're not one of the worst teams in the league, you're playing the Sharks and you're in the same conference, you fade them. And if you've done that, you're 73-14. But you cashed 24 straight times. That's it. That's the end of it. That's the Flames. Why not take the Calgary Flames in this position out there? I know. Look, I talked about this with the Celebrini, and do I care about the goalie or the players coming back from the All-Star or from the Olympic Games out there? I think they have the advantage. I mean, none of them really produced yesterday. So Draisaitl was kind of held scoreless. The Tampa Bay side of things, Toronto. I mean, all these boys didn't do shit coming back. So you got Celebrini, big fucking whoop. You got nobody else. And you got Askarov as your goaltender on top of things out there. So, extended rest. A lot fewer than 3 goals. Only 1 time in 19 games. So if you've got Celebrini, our greatest goal scorer since Connor McDavid, and he's not going to put points on the board, and your goalie's letting up north of 3 goals a game, he's posting an 8-9-1 record with a 4.07 goals against average. Yeah. You had me at fade when it was 24-0. Now you put some validation point behind it. I'm going to take me some Calgary Flames. I know they're not consistent, and Wolf has kind of been up and down, but probably more up than down, allowing 4 more goals in 7 of his last 10. But Calgary Flames, to me, this is a spot where I think they've already shown, look, they beat him the last time. It stayed under. So despite suspect goaltending, it was a 3-2 final in that game. I think they've already shown they can beat them once, and I think that we want to be in that fade position, especially where we can maybe project that Celebrini doesn't do shit tonight. So maybe that's a far stretch, but I'm willing to stretch it and give it a shot, especially for plus money pricing, plus monies, as my guy Sharpie likes to say. Of course, he'll be back talking from the little black book here, but Seattle Kraken plus 118. Steve Stamkos was plus 102 for the over 2.5 shots on goal, and the Calgary Flames are plus 117 to get down. Oh, I was just looking, some pop-up just came out there that this, I didn't realize that Smoke was that Smoke show, absolute smoke and show, left USA to go to China. Damn. She's not too good looking, to be an Olympic athlete. Jesus. Bethune-Cookman and Grambling will start at 6:30. Now, we did not win our 6 p.m. game. First, earliest we've given on the show. We fell astray. But at 6:30, Bethune-Cookman will take on the likes of Grambling State, the biggest game on the board. Some would say, I would say that's probably a false in Michigan State and Purdue. But it's open at -1. It's moved to plus 1.5. And so, it's kind of flip-flopping. It's coin flippy. 47% of the bets, 60% of the cash have come in on the Bethune-Cookman side of things. You might be saying, well, why the hell are we talking about this game? And I'll tell you why we're talking about this game. Because SWAC unders have been dominant, and this thing moved 3 points in our favor. It went from 141.5 to 144.5. You got 76% of the bets and 80% of the cash coming in here on a spot that we have two, again, mediocre teams basically pushing 500s. Bethune-Cookman probably gets the win. I would argue that they probably go out there and dominate. They're only 7-10 on the road against the spread, but Grambling State at home, 3-6 to the Grambling State in general is just a defensive juggernaut there. If you could be, they don't score enough points. That's evidence in their record overall in the season. But 16-9 in favor of the under. Best part about that for a team that's dominant to the under in a conference that's laden with unders and SWAC is we've got 3-1 to the over in their last 4. And Bethune's got a straight 3 pop to the overs out there. So they've readjusted this number. I think 144.5 is probably just a little too many. If you look at the Grambling side of things, especially as the home team, they should be fielding around that 136.5. And I just think that 8 points now on the other side at 144.5 is too many points. And we can get ourselves underneath this thing. So I like it. I think this is a good opportunity to capitalize on this. Oh, by the way, if you're going to go back, I want to mention this, not to be all over the place like a fucking chasing the bright bouncing shining ball here, but you can get a bonus on those top 20 golf finishes. So there was a method to the madness of sharing those with you guys. And hopefully you do take advantage of the golf action. I'd love to see afterwards. Do you guys play any of the golf selections that I share with you? 5 and 10 doesn't strike confidence in anybody, but it's like the RBIs, right? We don't need to have a winning record to have positive results. We invented the RBI business. We didn't invent the top 10, top 20 golf finish business, but we're going to be the ones that champion it this season. That is for sure. Let's go on to another battle royale. And I teased this at the start of the show. Again, 2 teams kind of looking at this thing going, middles? Does middles feel like the right number? You got Central Connecticut coming in at 16-11. They did just lose. Mercyhurst comes in at 14-15. They did just win. So arguably, how do you come to a position in this game? Well, you start digging into the facts, and guess what we have? We got one of our favorites. The bounce back revenge at home spot. Are you kidding me? In its fucking glory right now, especially off a loss? does favor Central Connecticut State. And it's not just saying it to say it. I don't be saying shit just to be saying it. -3s have moved to -3.5s to 4s, even 4.5s out there. You have 82% of the bets on Central Connecticut, but 75% of the cash. I think in this case here, where you can justify the line movement, is the sharps are just looking at this thing and saying, I want to buy the number. These are two mid teams and anything could happen. So I'll take 3.5 points in my back pocket, or even 4s and 4.5s now. Probably comes down to close to a last bat. I don't think it's a runaway. Let me put it that way. But Central Connecticut's 4-1 outright in their last 5 games. They've lost back-to-back spots out there. And remember, bounce back revenge situation, 199 and 147. College basketball favorites in the redemption mode rematch in the current season. So you got to give it some respect. It's cashed 5 straight times out there, and we get to buy low. I mean, look, 3-1 is this pitiful Mercyhurst Lakers team against the spread in their last 4. They just had a huge win against Long Island. Huge win. Standings wise, if you look at kind of where Long Island fits, Long Island's the number 1 team in the conference. It goes Long Island, then it goes Central Connecticut, then it goes Dolphins, then it goes Lakers. So I'm going to take a shot with the better team, the higher ranked team out there. Conference play, there's 10-6. Picking the top 4 teams. And it's funny because I did like to get like Chicago State. We'll talk about them in a minute. St. Francis, PA. Those 2 bags of shit lead the bottom of this conference. This is a bad conference. New Haven shit to bed the other day, but these top 4 can battle. And I think it was just last year, Long Island won this thing and blew up in March Madness. But that's what a lot of favorites tend to do. Or dogs tend to do, I guess, in a favorite riddle tournament. So I think that's what we'll see more of this year. But I'm going to go with Central Connecticut State. I'm going to lay, what did I lay? I'll tell you what I laid. It's all tracked at BetStamp at Mikey Money. -4 for Central Connecticut. I got -4, -110. 4.5 is good for me. If that's all you can do, so be it. Jordy Fuentes' Flames over. Mr. Wesker says, I only played Tiger Woods. All right. Well, maybe you consider these top 10s I gave out there. Chicago State, Long Island. Speaking of mediocrity in this conference here, this one's bad. This is close your nose and go. This is a Chicago State with the points. It's hard to say that when you've got a team that's got nothing to play for, but Long Island's got nothing to play for. They showed it their last game, taking that L against mediocre opponent. The lines come down on top of that. 87% of the bets in that. I shouldn't say mediocre. The entire conference is mediocre. But it's gone from 12.5 to 11.5 with 92% of the cash coming in on Long Island. They made it more attractive to bet. First red flag. You dig in, you drill down here. Chicago State's pitiful. Surprisingly, though, if you want to look at a positive for Chicago State, it's been their run as of late. They're so bad that the books don't even know what kind of spread to put on them. And think about it. As bad as they are, they played the worst team in the conference in St. Francis, PA. They were 3.5 point favorites. So they're bad. There's no way to sugarcoat it, right? But I mean, they're winning. They won 2 games as a dog. Stonehill and then Central Connecticut State. And it wasn't just that they beat Central Connecticut State. They beat the piss out of them, 70-51. Granted, it was at home. But sometimes you got to take these stinky little favorites and, I think, or dogs rather. And I think when you look at a Chicago State spot, first of all, unranked teams in the dog roll on the road, between 11.5 and 12.5 is a sweet spot. Take the points. You're 75-30. Little system play for everybody to consider there. It is a take the points and feel damn good about it. I think Chicago State game probably rolls to the under as well. I mean, the NEC is an under squad. It's an under school, under conference. And Chicago State likes to run slow. slow minimum possessions. The entire conference runs minimum possessions, but I thought the interesting stat for the way that the Chicago State Cougars want to play this game is with the under in mind, despite the fact that the over's catching some steam. 3 of the last 6 games, the possessions were in the 50s. I mean, think about it. Some of these Bama games are in the 80s and 90s. These guys are in the 50s. So bad shooting collectively on both sides of this thing. Chicago State probably finds a way to win this thing by free throws at the end. I don't think it's a wrong team's favorite type of situation, but it wouldn't surprise me if they came out there and snuck them. You know, if you wanted to put a couple dollars on a plus 600, I couldn't talk you off it, but I like the 11.5. I don't think like some of these games that we've seen where they get blown out by 21, like we saw the other night with Notre Dame losing by the worst they've lost to in 100 years on their home court. It's a little different when you're in the NEC, when you're not playing a Duke or a UConn. So I'll take them. I'll take a shot with them. And then we'll go to the big game, the big battle here. It's the good guys versus the shit guys here. Jerry Davis says, LIU got nothing to play for. I agree. That's exactly the way I saw it. They had nothing to play for the last game. And they showed you. They don't care. It's not tournament time. They need to win. They need to get healthy. They need to practice. When you're a mediocre team, you need to practice some schemes, some things to go a little bit deeper and bring in some of those younger guys off the bench in case one of your veterans goes cold in the tournament. So those variables I think do exist here, but let's talk about this game. It's a big one. It's a battle. It's a fun game. It's a Big Ten top 25 ranked battle between Michigan State going on the road here against Purdue, the Boilermakers. I mean, the only time these teams meet this year, the line started at 6.5. It did creep up to 7.5 before settling back into 6.5. 64% of the bets are on Michigan State. 54% of the cash. The totals moved up 2 points, 3 points in some books, and it's correlated. You have 68% of the bets and 66% of the cash coming in on that over. And there it goes. I mentioned it's the first time these teams will meet this season. Both having respectively strong performances as they've come into this one. I love me some fade of Michigan State. And then you look at this number and you're like, boy, if these teams are 8 or 9 and 13. Why are we looking at 6.5 points? Too many points. Immediate gut reaction would be to jump in on this Michigan State side of things here. But peel it back. Michigan State's a sub 500 ATS team. You got Purdue. Probably not much better in their own rights. I mean, these two teams are definition of even. Conference play even, records even, ATS records even. So why am I willing to lay the points? It's because I think they have the considerable advantage at the skill positions. Now, if you look at the way Michigan State wants to play basketball, they certainly like to limit rebounds, right? They're one of the best in the country to do it. Limit those second chance opportunities. And they average 78.4 points a game. But that number drops down considerably when they go on the road. I mentioned their big loss this past couple of weeks was against Michigan. So they've rallied. They've found a way to get themselves going. But can that defense continue to limit shooting efficiency from one of the best teams in the Big Ten to do it? The Spartans are averaging 66.1 points a game. They're keeping opponents to shooting below 40. You're going into Purdue. This is a tough spot. Purdue. Look, I talk about Michigan being that tough step for Michigan State. Man, Purdue put up 93 points against Indiana, making every darn shot that came across it. They were keeping pace. They were pushing rhythm. They made them very uncomfortable. And I think that Michigan State, because they're on the road, look, 3 of their 4 conference losses came in just that position. So does their offense travel? I don't think so in this case here. Yes, they average 41 rebounds a game, but Purdue can nullify that by being one of the best in the Big Ten to rebound the basketball as well. I think this line just tells you that you're looking at a spot where you've got to consider Purdue to beat the snot out of these guys. And look, I get it. Away dogs, the rest, blah, 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 blah. But we've learned time and again, when it comes down to it, what you don't want to do is have to count on Michigan State to put points on the board. In fact, we go back to it. 2 good teams with a big spread. 143 and 92. It's cashed back-to-back times since we've been hawking these things late in the season. I think the better team, the more efficient team, the deeper team, the home team, and the Purdue Boilermakers go out there and smack these bottoms. -6.5 is a good spot to get that cash. Jerry Davis disagrees, though. He's got 8.5 on Michigan State. Maybe we both cash. Up One Money says, I'm here. What up? Up One Money. Good. Thank you for being here. Jerry Davis says, I think interior size for Michigan State keeps them in this game. Purdue is small. We will see. I think Purdue beats them up by 15. But we'll see how it shakes out when it's all said and done. That should be a fun game to close out the college basketball card. We will move on to a couple games in the NBA for you guys here. The Heat and the Sixers. You know, the saga about Embiid. I think it's do or die time here for these Sixers. They got to step up, step in here. You got a Miami team that we've talked about has been the beacon of inconsistency. Yes, win one. Yes, lose one. Win one, lose one. Win one, lose one. And you know, the Sixers squad. How do you take any? What do you put in terms of stock in that Indiana Pacers game? We know the Indiana Pacers stink. We know that Spoelstra off a loss covers quite a bit. In fact, 8-2 in his last 10. So the question is, do you find this Heat team in a rebound jump back capacity, or do you look at the home team bounce back revenge situation with the 76ers? I think that's the play. Yeah, the road dogs early in the season were cashing. The Heat, after a loss in 2025, are on a 10-game winning streak. So it'd be nice and easy to come in there and say, well, let's just jump in and take this Heat team. But when the Sixers get hot, stay the heck out of their way. They are 17-2 off a high-scoring game that went over the number. They are kicking butt and taking names. 15 straight wins. When they start putting points on the board, look out. And this is a coin flip game. You're getting the Sixers, who should be an 8. You should be laying 7 or 8, and you're catching them at a discount. So jump in. Jump on board with me. Let's take the Sixers. It's not a homer pick. They're 13-7 at home against the spread. They do play better on the road, fact, at 19-8 against the spread here. But, man, yeah, 21 points. They busted them Pacers up. They busted up the Timberwolves. In fact, 3 straight roadies coming out of the break. They stumbled against the Pelicans. They cooked the Timberwolves. They cooked the Pacers. They're going to cook this Heat, and he needs some gas to cook. So let's get this Heat team on the tracks and let the train run right through them here. Milwaukee Bucks was that loss that the Heat took 128-117, a 6.5-point favorite. So I could see the narrative of you get to buy low after covering 3 straight games, but those covers were against the Pelicans, the Hawks, and the Grizzlies. Step up in class. You're about to get run out the gym. It's going to be a Sixers smash. Probably is a Sixers smash spot. The old trifecta, Nasty Nate. Where are you? What say you, Nasty Nate? Let's go. Up once is Heat money line. He likes the Michigan State money line as well. Or Michigan State, I guess. Heat 20-7 off a loss. Yeah. 76ers don't know how to win is the problem. Well, Mr. Weskers, we will see. Up one money. Yeah, I'm giving you guys all the numbers, man. We're all on the same page. We are all on the same page with some of these numbers here. But look, that's why we can have ourselves a community, boys. We agree to disagree. We find some spots that we want to smash, that we want to cash, and then we kick the bookies in the ass. How about that? Let's move on. Utah Jazz, New Orleans Pelicans, boys, girls, people. I'm not laying 7 points with the Pelicans on the road. That is not a recipe for success in any fashion. 58% of the bets and 61% of the cash think that is a recipe for success. I would argue why. They're not in Smoothie King. They're not 100%. And why? Because they're playing the Jazz? These two teams are about even. And you're giving me 7 points? It's too many points. When they play a bad team and they've got at least a day's rest at home, they're 17-5. They play better against bad teams because they're just not bad enough. That's fact. Probably see a bunch of points. The Jazz in a dog roll, 2 to 3 days rest, are 38-13 to the over. We know the Pelicans don't really run any kind of defense. They beat up Golden State. We were on the Pelicans in that game to beat up Golden State. In fact, we've cashed with Golden State by fading them and then playing on them here the last 2 games. So pretty dialed into the Warrior side of things here. But, Golden State only put up 109 points. Golden State ain't Golden State like they Golden Stated in the past. So that game stayed under here. I think that you see points. I think I almost like a double dip. I may circle back and pop the over on this game as well because, it's a lofty number. But how do we not? I mean, I just told you guys with that 2 to 3 days rest, they're an over squad. And when you got both teams coming in with, at least a day's rest, 30-6 to the over. So I just like the spot as it's a good, I think I am. It's a big number for a reason. The only thing that would get me, I got to put a little thought into it because we're at 242.5. Conference unders after and over are 69 and 42 this season. It has lost 5 in a row, though, so it does kind of nullify those numbers out there here. I just think you take the Jazz. I think this is a sprinkle some money line on the Jazz as well. Why the hell not? I just don't see the Pelicans having the squad and personnel to go out there and kick the piss out of these guys. Can't see it. Even if it happens, I'll still say I couldn't see it. What happened? I didn't see it. Let's see what's going on here. Mr. Weskers are back to Sixers. Okay. Up on money says, I can't bet Jazz and not land points on the road with the Pelicans. It's a good way to put it, dude. Elliot Jameson, what's up, my dude? He's in with the Sixers. Jay Main says, took Sadiq Bey 20 plus this morning. Up one money says, Lakers and Heat, easy money. That's where I was saying I kind of thought about this as the other day because I had the Lakers the other day and they fucked me. I had the Timberwolves the other day and they fucked me. Jay Main says, I'm here. I like the trend, but I can't trust us in Philly. Okay. I like the Timberwolves. I'm going to go back to it. It's a revenge game. Favorite loss. Favorite was a favorite the last time they played. 502 and 294. I mean, that's if the books are showing you that even though they lost the last time, they're still a favorite over the last 30 years. It's cashed 63% of the time. Think about that. In 30 years, 811 games, it's cashed 63% of the time. That's a monster trend. Off the loss in the bounce back position here, revenge on the line, and a Clippers team, by the way, who's in sell mode. You can't get rid of key pieces of your personnel and think that the entire world doesn't see you in tank sell. We're checked out mode. So I will fade them again. I will take the Timberwolves again. It's the same number as last time, -5.5. A little scary as a matter of fact, but I think that's the way we'll put the bow on the show, you guys. A couple NBA games, a couple college basketball games, a couple of NHL games as well. Rockets Magic. I had a player prop that made the profile for this one, and it was Wendell Carter's under 7.5 rebounds. So Houston just on the court. I think it's a good opportunity for us to get involved in the Wendell Carter business here. Kevin Durant points, a lot of people talking about KD. But listen, just think this is too many for Carter. He's not quite averaging that number overall, just 6 rebounds against an Orlando team out there, and they're putting it at 7.5. This one made the dashboard because it is just inflated by a full rebound. So not a 0.6, not a 0.7, not a 0.8. It's a full rebound too heavy, and that's the way we'll get after it. Shout out to you guys, man. Appreciate everybody being here. Big Crypto says my best bets of the night. He likes the Lakers and the Timberwolves, and I do like the Ottawa Senators. Shout out to you, Big Crypto. Appreciate you coming back, rocking with us. Up one money says home team is 5-0, last 5 between these two. Shout out to Ramon Scott. You guys make sure you check out the morning steam at 9 a.m. We talked about this before. 3 times the lines tend to get funky throughout the day. One is overnight. They release those overnight lines. They put limits on them. And when you wake up in the morning, you can join Ramon Scott and see how the European books, the syndicates, the big sharp bettors went out there with limits. By 12 o'clock or so, they take the limits off, and that's when you start to see another wave of movement. And then we talk about that at 5 p.m. before we go live. The public tends to jump in when they get out of work. That's probably the third leg of movement, unless somebody's looking for a middle. But Ramon Scott and I got you guys covered here at the Sports Money Network. Make sure you tune in at 9 a.m. to check him out. Big Crypto says, and the Houston Rockets look good to beat the Orlando Magic tonight. I think so too. Shut the Redbeard. There's nasty Nate in the house. He likes the Wolves second quarter. Up one money, says Houston on the rope. Nope. Mr. Weskers. Mikey, I appreciate all you guys, man. Thank you guys for being here. Leave a comment for me after the show. Tell me what your favorite play is. Tell me if you're tailing. Tell me if you're fading. But tell me something. That helps us a tremendous amount. And I told you guys, we're battling right now. You guys like to battle. You know that as much as I do. And we are battling this social media space out there. We've gone through trials and tribulation time and again to keep the sports money community growing. And we need your help now. All hands on deck here as we battle YouTube, as we battle Twitter. They don't like gambling. We do. We like making that money. Try to get some extras, some incrementals in life. Maybe it's an extra dinner out. Maybe you go to the grocery store. You don't have to think twice about buying that giant porterhouse steak. Maybe you're trying to save up money for a new computer or a vacation or a zero-turn lawnmower as we get ready for the lawn mowing season. But that's what gambling can do for you. We do it methodically. We have a proven, tested system. We use tools, technology, and betting expertise experience to help you guys with informed betting strategies. So make sure you leave a comment. Help us continue to grow this thing. Help us fight the war against these social media platforms. And let's keep kicking butt and taking names. I'll be back tomorrow to rock and roll with you guys at 5 p.m. pre-gaming. Good luck with your evening.